Dumbo. And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski on this Inspiration Thursday, World Cancer Day. And we're here with a cancer survivor, a young lady, 25 years old, who took on the disease and conquered it. And then, if that isn't enough, she decided to write about it. Has written a book called Honest Words, her thoughts, her experience, her challenges, what she did to overcome the big C, cancer. And we know there are people out there who are suffering from cancer, family member, loved one. You may know someone who knows someone who knows someone who has cancer. This is a show for you. Spread the word, because Liza Ngenye has conquered this disease, and you can too. That's what she is saying. Her Twitter handle is @Liza Ngenye. Mine is @Koinange Jeff. Please keep tweeting. Please keep talking to your fellow loved ones, because I tell you, it's important. It's important that we just don't discard them. Liza, as you look at your mother to see if she approves of how you look. So, before the break, we'll talk about how you decided to announce. You announced to the whole world on Facebook.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Yeah, I woke up one night and I said, you know what? It's time. I woke up, I opened my computer and I said, hello everyone, I have cancer and this is what I want you to do for me. And I hit send, and every single person, every friend, every relative knew that I had cancer.
Right away?
Yeah, instantly.
Why'd you do that?
Well, I did it for a couple of reasons. Number one, Jeff, it was too much for me to handle as an individual. I mean, cancer is huge. It's not just about you. And I felt it was too much of a burden to bear alone. I needed people to help me carry this burden. I needed people who I knew would, join hands together to actually walk me down this journey. Number two, I really wanted to give people an opportunity to be part of my life. I wanted people to actually support me. People can't support you if they don't know. And many people keep quiet because they think that they're doing what is in their best interest, but it's not, because you can't get the support that is available. Now, once I told people I had cancer, people actually were able to support me, whether it's physically, whether it's socially or emotionally, whatever way. I needed the support as a patient.
What was the reaction like?
You know what? It was overwhelming. I mean, people were just there. They were there for me. They walked with me through the journey. And, I was very open. I put pictures on Facebook. Every time I went to the hospital, I put pictures. Even in the chemo room, I was taking pictures when I was going through chemo. And they were there just cheering me on. They were encouraging me. So it was so overwhelming. The support was really what I needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many supporters or followers, what did they have on Facebook? How many did you have?
At the time, 700. Yeah.
And during the course?
Yeah, and throughout the course, they were there to support, and every single one of them, without exception.
But that's the other thing you mentioned in your book, is the fact that rumors were going around.
Yeah. And rumors, Jeff, that's part of life. People will always talk about you, either positively or negative. That's part of life,
Yep.
And so what I reasoned was, okay, let me tell you a story. One day, I was walking back from the hospital, from getting treatment. I was walking to my apartment. This relative called me and said, oh, I heard that you got X, Y, and Z disease. Now, a completely different medical condition. And I was like, what? What disease? I don't even have that. Like, what are you talking about? That's when I knew, okay, she heard I was sick, but she didn't know what kind of sickness it was. And that confirmed what I believe about people talking. Now, when you tell everyone what you're going through, then the person who gossips really, what business do you have?
Yeah.
It's common knowledge, it's public knowledge. They lose the relevance.
Yeah.
But the point is, should you care? I don't think you should, right? People, that's how they are, that's their character. It's you as an individual, you need to focus on yourself and appreciate the people who are really there to support you.
But people out there who don't have your strength or your confidence, does it bother you? Does it hurt you when people start, talking about a disease you don't have that they claim you have? Is it hurting?
I don't think so. It doesn't hurt me, but it really shows me their character. I think when things are good in your life, you see people in a positive way. But when things get bad, you get to see their true character. Not everyone has your best interest. Not everyone wants to see you succeed. Not everyone wants to be there when things get rough. And so I learned people really the hard way, but now I know who my friends are, I know who my family is, the people who will really be there for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After 6 months of in and out of the hospital,
Yeah.
what happened?
So after 6 months, and it was not easy, Jeff. I mean, I think chemo is the worst thing. I think it's even worse than cancer itself. As I said before, cancer is almost a given. You almost expect, you know, okay, fine, I'm going away, right? But chemotherapy is this non-stop torture, and it's not only physical, it's mental and it's emotional, and it takes a lot out of a person. As I said, you're harming yourself. You're taking toxins, you're taking something that is lethal, you're putting it in your body, and you expect to see good results, but you don't, because there are side effects. You lose your hair, you lose your weight, you get mouth sores, you get peripheral neuropathy, which is the tingling in your feet, you get dizziness, you get confusion, you experience pain, you get all these symptoms, but in your mind you have to convince yourself that you're healing, but you won't see that healing immediately.
How often did you do chemo?
Every 2 weeks for 6 months.
Was your mother there throughout?
She was there throughout.
Throughout?
Yeah. Yeah. She was there
She
throughout.
left everything in Nairobi?
She left everything and she was there by my side. Yes. She was my caregiver. And this is another point. You know, cancer patients need caregivers because there will come a time when you cannot take care of yourself, either physically, emotionally, or even mentally. The caregiver is someone who will be there for you, who will literally walk you, feed you, bathe you, do everything for you, and she was that person to me. She's someone who I trusted completely. Yes.
Now you grew up very religious,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Did you think at some point, did you think, God, why me? Why me?
I think that's a fair question, Jeff, and I asked that question because I think my religion beforehand was one that was superficial. I mean, I did all the good things that a normal Christian woman did. You know, I prayed, I went to church. I mean, I was observing all that was required of me. But to actually have an honest conversation with God, honest words with God, that takes a lot of courage. And few people are afraid to have that conversation. Yes, God, why me? But you know what answer I got? Why not? Why not? What makes you special than all the other people out there who are also going through cancer? You're not any more special than anyone out there. The same God who loves that person is the same God that loves you. So don't think that religion is an excuse to not have a disease or not go through difficulty or not go broke or not go through any trials and tribulation. We're living in a world with problems, and religious people need to understand that even you can be a victim of those problems. And that's the reality of life.
Wow. Wow. So after 6 months, and you were given, I guess, sort of a clean bill of health, then what happened?
Then the doctor told me, yes, you're cancer-free. We did the tests and we can't find cancer. Go and live your life. Well, how am I supposed to do that? You know, for 6 months, I'm thinking, okay,
You're gonna die.
I'm going to die. You know, you're planning that exit, so to say. But now to be told, go and live your life, you can't. You see, life is not like a movie. You can't just pause and play. I literally had to start again. I literally rebuilt my life. I changed as a person. I changed my priorities. My career choices changed. My relationships changed. Everything changed because I had gone through a life-changing experience. I'm not the same person that I was before. I'm a different woman. I have a different life. I know where I'm going. I had to start over again from zero.
Is this one better so far?
Absolutely. Better, cuter, everything.
Hello.
Everything. Yeah.
How much longer were you in America before you came back? During that time?
1 more year and then I came back.
1 more year.
Yeah.
And did you go for tests during that time?
So 2 years. So every twice a year you go for a test, and you can do these tests anywhere in the U.S. And here in Kenya, we're starting to have the facilities available where I can continue to do these tests. Yes.
Do you do them?
Yes, and I do them
regularly.
Yes.
And still?
Yeah.
Clean.
Yep. Still clean.
So did you go back to God and say, "What's up? Thank you for second chance"?
Jeff, that's very interesting. I think that as people, we think that God owes us, but really he doesn't owe us anything. He's God, okay? So to expect, oh, thanks for giving me back my life like it's your right. It's not your right to be alive. It's not your right to be healthy. There's so many people out there who are not healthy. There's so many people out there who are struggling. So you think you're better than them? I'm just grateful. That's it. I'm grateful. And me being alive and me being healthy is a huge responsibility. I have to watch out for those people. I have to speak for them. I have to care for them. I have to advocate for them because I'm no better than they are. And that's why I've written this book, to actually help those people who are still going through this horrible, horrible disease.
What prompted you to write it, actually, Liza? What prompted you?
One thing is I was always open. From the minute I was diagnosed to the minute it was over, I was open. I told people what I was going through. I put pictures. I was out there. So people felt comfortable approaching me. And in fact, they asked me questions that were a bit overwhelming, like, okay, I found out I have this lump, or I feel like this. Do I have cancer? I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you whether you have cancer or not, but people kept asking me these questions. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to write a book. And I'll give people this book and say, just read the book. It'll have all the answers to your questions. And that's really what prompted me. It's a book that I actually give people and say, you know what, I know what you're going through. Here are the answers. This is what you actually are going through.
Yeah. The book is called Honest Words by Liza Ngenye. Literally out a few weeks ago. And it's going to be available here in Kenya very soon. Prestige Bookshop, Fontana in Westlands. Yaya, go to my friend Chand. Tell him he'll get it for you. This is very important. Liza, the one thing you want people to take away from your book, from your experience, what is it?
Cancer can happen to anyone. It can happen to you, Jeff.
You told me earlier, I was kind of shocked.
It can happen to you. You can be the next victim.
Because we all have cancer cells in us.
Yes.
Every one of us.
And that's true. And, yes, there's a part of risky behavior, risk factors. For example, whether you drink alcohol, whether you take drugs, whether you live an unhealthy lifestyle, whether, certain exposure to sun. I mean, these are certain risk factors, yes. Then there are environmental factors, things that we don't have control over. Pollution is one of them, contaminants in our food and our water, those are things. Then finally, there's probability. Like me, you can live a perfect life, but you still get cancer. So that's what I'm saying. You could be the next victim. I don't know, I'm not one to say, but it can happen to anyone. So my question is this, are you prepared? Are you prepared?
No, I'm not. I mean, we can be.
Right.
You can never be, right?
Right.
No one can be.
But I think we can be in a position and more informed and more courageous when we see people tell their stories, when we are aware, when we're more empathetic, when we're more in tune with God's purpose and what He's doing in our life. That puts us in a better position to combat the disease if it does come.
And people out there who are suffering right now, someone who learned they have cancer today, Liza.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Someone
who's been suffering from cancer for the last 15, 20 years. Someone who lost a loved one from cancer. What do you tell them?
I want to cry your tears. I really do. I've been there. I know what it's about. And I really feel for those people. But it's not enough to feel sorry, Jeff. I mean, if we're doing this show so we can feel sorry for these people, then it's wrong. People don't want sympathy, okay? They don't want you just to say sorry and then move on with their life. We need to do something about this. We need to be serious. We need to actually pull together our resources. Let's support research. Let's support education. Let's find a cure for cancer. We can do this. Let's form support groups. There are things that we can do now to make that person's life better, but yet we're sitting here feeling sorry for them. That's not going to help anything. We need to do something about it.
20 years from now, are you going to tell your kids what happened to you?
Absolutely. I won't even wait 20 years. I'll tell everyone. That's part of who I am. Cancer is a part of me. It's part of my identity. It's something that I can't just put in the shelf and move on with life. It forms a part of my identity. It's part of who I am.
Yeah. Hearing. At Liza Ngenye, at Koinange Jeff, the hashtag Honest Words. Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski takes another break. We'll be back plenty more after this break.